Yeah, so I'll say a little this morning. I've got a rather complex title, which is going through the conditioned to see the unconditioned. Um, Maybe I'll get to that. But it's this reflection started with on the retreat. Sadhnandi, who some of you will know, was leading the retreat, and she talked about how um, the spiritual life, as she saw it at a particular point, was about being able to drop attachments and how that felt really hard. Um, but then there was another sort of definition of the spiritual life, which was about seeing clearly with wisdom. And Sadhnandi's thought was, well, dropping attachment seems like the really hard bit, seems a bit out of reach. But how about seeing things as they really are? I think many people might see it the other way around as well. But yeah, there's these two aspects, if you like, of the practice of working with attachment or the problem of attachment and the suffering it causes, and the ability to see things more clearly. So attachments are the one side of the coin of clinging, if you like. We have attachment and identification. And attachment is more about clinging to what's mine, what belongs to me. So there's a sense of ownership there. That's very strong. That we take ownership of certain things or certain ideas, uh, certain sort of people, even. And how we work with it in this practice is that we recognize craving, we recognize in a way that expression of attachment, craving or aversion or delusion. The mind that's deluded will reach out and try and take sort of ownership. And we recognize them as they happen in our direct experience. So we work on a very sort of pragmatic level. This is what's happening. Can I just recognize it in awareness? So turning that lens that's normally sort of focused on what's happening externally, the objects of seeing and hearing and all those ones. And if you like turning that lens around and what in here, what can I recognize in my experience of body, but particularly the mind in the broad sense. So we're very clearly not looking to make craving or any experience of wanting or not wanting go away. That is definitely not um, the aim, but just to see it happening in awareness and with right view. So when we have right view, that really helps us see more clearly, brings in this element. We're seeing craving as craving, rather than being hooked in the desire of what's wanted. In that feeling of desire, we recognize the feeling or the experience of wanting, craving, not wanting as it happens. Um, right view helps us recognize if that experience has the flavor of dukkha about it. Um, yeah, that's can we see within our own experience the Buddha's teaching that wanting, craving is actually a state of suffering. Um, I think that's quite an interesting, um, I mean, it might be perfectly clear to all of you, that connection, but I found it really, really helpful uh, to just really sort of look at the experience of wanting. So really unhooking from what is desired or what's wanted, but the experience of sort of longing or reaching out or trying to sort of hold on to something. Just noticing the suffering in that can be very instructive because it's your actual experience. It's not something a teaching that you're trying to take on board. So it can feel like this isn't enough. This just watching, becoming aware of wanting in the mind. But every time that we're doing that, we're having the experience of recognition of craving and aversion in the mind, and we're not pursuing it. We're not sort of following its objects, cravings objects. And on the other hand, we're not resisting it or judging it or pushing it away. Um, we're seeing it for what it is on its own level. And there are deeper ways of seeing it for what it is. But that's a really, really helpful way that can lead to all sorts of other deeper seeings. Well, seeings and feelings, because the experience, we're looking at the whole experience, and this is what craving and aversion is like in the body, in the mind, what it feels like. And so we get used to staying with or a sort of positive sort of toleration for feelings, sensations, and thoughts that usually push us towards having what it is that we want, the end sort of results, if you like, whether that's a person or whether it's we want a particular outcome in a situation. And it's really, I find it really interesting to rather than be caught in the power of that sort of seductiveness of wanting or the resistance, the painfulness of pushing away, to just feel the energy and the power of that quality of the wanting mind or not wanting mind. And we feel it from the simplicity. That's why it's possible, really, because it's the wanting mind is quite complex. It's quite strong, has its power, but actually, this the awareness and wisdom mind has its own simplicity, and there's a power in that. So the going through the conditioned to be able to see, to be able to understand the unconditioned. Um, this is a path to do so, and it's the path of understanding the nature of craving, the nature of attachment, that attachment aversion mind, how it acts, how it feels, how it's possible to be with it without automatically um, acting on it. Um, And when we see it clearly, then we have the possibility of seeing through it, seeing clearly, seeing through. Um, it might be that it's an eventual seeing through, but you're in that process when we're seeing clearly. There's more and more that can be seen, that can be understood. Um, yeah, through staying with it. Okay, so that's my little reflection for this morning. If you'd like to set up your posture.